NPK. The NPK Show. NPK to all the listeners around the world. You're listening to NPK Live.
Well, you're back. Another podcast, another day. Podcast 159. And we're still on our best bits. This is the best bits part 2. So we're well into the summer holidays now. It's the second week. How many of yous with kids are now pulling your hair out and thinking, I cannot wait for September to come again because I can ship the little shits back off to school? Or you might not be like me. You might love spending every waking moment of getting up at 5:30 and listening to Daddy Finger on repeat for 50 million times. But anyway, that's just for the parents. Anyone without kids won't have a fucking clue what Daddy Finger is, and you probably think I've lost the plot. But there you go. For those who haven't got kids and have got time to sit down and relax and listen to the NPK Show, chill out, grab a cup of tea, and listen to the best parts part 2. That was a lot of P's there. Coatsy, get them into the best parts, eh? Let's go.
Welcome back, listeners. Yeah, as Thomas said, we're talking about grow media, and this is episode 50.
Yeah.
Well done. How did we make it this far?
I don't know. I think the people are going to start putting a petition in against us to shut us up. I think.
Yeah, don't make that petition. We like doing this.
Yeah.
We've come quite a way, actually, haven't we?
Yeah.
We've got our own studio now. We'll take some pictures and put them up for you to have a look at.
Yeah, we haven't done that yet, have we?
No. Obviously, our kit, which is top of the range now. We've got these chairs. We're in the Superstore in Morton. That's where our recording
a bit
studio
squeaky.
is. So we've got squeaky chairs. So you might be able to hear some of our squeakiness because Thomas gets very active and excited when he talks about grow media. So bear with us until we get some nice fancy chairs.
Where at this point his plant was severely dead. It looked like something out of a zombie film. It was that bad. It looked as if what's that place? Chernobyl.
Yeah, Chernobyl.
Yeah, Chernobyl. That's what he had done to his plants because he thought a cocoa schedule was good enough for soil. So that's just another side of the scale. And if you're unsure, just call us up and ask us and say, this is what I do. As again, different horses for different courses. So different types of media will suit different types of people. There's no right and wrong media. It's just different people want to use different things and get different results in different methods. So that's just a little basis from me.
The way I describe it to the customers, Thomas, is you'll have heard me talking about this. I put it as I start with a 30 centimetre ruler. Now, you technical listeners, don't buy into this too much because you're going to rip me apart. But this is really simply explaining the different medias to a new customer that wants to understand. So we start with a 30 centimetre ruler. Soil is the 30 centimetres. Each centimetre is a mistake that the grower might make. It might be over-fertilising, under-fertilising, too high a pH, too low a pH, too much water, not enough water. All these little mistakes, they add up, but soil will not punish you too much. Soil will give you a bit of grace, a bit of time to fix the mistakes, and you'll get a good product at the end. Cocoa is the 15 centimetre ruler. You can only make, let's say 15 mistakes, one mistake for each centimetre. It's less forgiving than soil, more forgiving than deep hydroponics, which is your water and your rock wools and your clay pebbles. With cocoa, you tend to get a high yield as well.
Yeah, because with cocoa, it allows you to basically push the boundaries of growing. With soil, a soil grower will always end up limited. There'll be a barrier, a buffer, so to speak. But with cocoa, them barriers are unbroken and undefined.
How could we?
And limitless.
I've just a metaphor sort of popped up in my head, and you'll like this one. So a soil grower has a cap on his car.
Yeah.
And it's limited to 70 miles an hour.
Yeah.
You can't really go wrong at 70 miles an hour, can
you?
A cocoa grower has that cap, but it's at 120 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Now, things can go wrong if you're not a good driver, but you can steer the car and you can get to A to B much quicker at a faster time and everything's hunky-dory. Now, there's no cap with hydroponics. You can do 200 miles an hour on the German Autobahn if you want to. But trust me, there's a lot of room for mistake. And if you make a mistake in hydroponics, you're going to get punished.
Like if you crash at 200 mile an hour,
it's game over.
Game on. Right, okay. I will shed some light on some of this because I do know a bit about it. Okay, there's various places across the globe that we collect coconut fibres from. And majority of the companies that collect cocoa fibres are distribute to a number of manufacturers. However, there is different levels of quality of coconut fibres that are collected, and there's different types of coconut fibres that are collected, and there's different places in the world where coconut fibres are collected. So what happens, there is a few factories across the globe that do this. I know there's a few in Sri Lanka and
some in India
and stuff like that. And yes, we've heard rumours that, two cocos come from the same factory and we see the wagon, they just change the bag and this and that. Yeah, that could be true. Yeah, they could be manufactured in same factories. However, each cocoa is formulated in different ways and is collected from different places. So you can have, okay, I'm sure you've seen coconuts that are lying on the floor on the beach that are rotten and crappy. You're not going to pick them up and start trying to crack them open and eat them, are you? But then you've seen the prized possession at the top of the tree with the sun glistening on it, looking lovely. There you go. There's your answer.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also each company is going to treat their cocoa fibres in a slightly different way.
And store them a different way and package them a different way.
Yeah. So that are just a few things to consider if you're choosing cocoa.
Go and buy it. Fuck off and get out of my face, because I haven't got time to waste me and my team's time talking to you brain dead people. Because if you think that a tent off eBay, 3 metre by 3 metre, is going to be sufficient, oh my God, you'd end up with 6-inch holes that you'd have to cut with the Stanley blade. So you couldn't send it back even if it had a warranty, because it hasn't anyway, because it's that cheap. The poles will snap, you haven't got a warranty. And the quality of the material, so when you close the tent and you switch your lights on, you can still see the lights because the material's practically see-through. The zips will have already fell off in your hand before you've even got them out the box. Plus, there'll always be a pole missing or something missing. So what you're best off doing is getting a bit of sellotape or duct tape or a bit of hard as nails just ready to box this piece of shite tent together when you pull it out the box.
You don't pull your punches when you're talking about eBay tents, do you?
No, I don't. Because, you know what? Because we had a customer on the phone last night and he absolutely pissed me off because he phoned us up. He come into the shop and he asked the guys about the tent, and we sell a wide range of tents. We don't push any tents on you. Whatever you want, you can have from our shop. Now, we've got some top of the range set up and we've some bottom of the range. However, whatever tent you get from us, you will get a guarantee, whether it be a budget range. Now, our budget ranges are of good quality. Some of them only have thin poles, plastic corners, but not to worry, because if there is any problems with it, we will replace them parts or components, or if the zips broke, we would replace the tent. So I really need to stress to you guys and girls that are listening that if you're not monitoring humidity, you are basically hindering your grow environment and hindering your yields and quality of produce, because humidity is very, very important. So you need to measure it, and you need to use a basic thermohygrometer to measure it. If you haven't got one, pop into the store, or any store, just go and get one, because it's really important. I'm not bothered if you don't buy from NPK, but if you haven't got one, you're a crap grower. So stop being a crap grower and become a good cultivator and buy yourself a thermohygrometer. What about another top tip?
Top tip.
Okay, top tip. Small plants, stand-up fans in the room, 4 of them in each corner, blowing at small plants.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think about that, Stephen?
Gale Force 10.
Gale Force tent on small little babies who are trying to build up a climate, who are trying to create some humidity. And then what does somebody do? They come in with the big fan, stick it right at the plant, pointing at it. And what does it do? It blows all of the microclimate away from the plant. So, oh yeah, but then your plant will stand up straight. Wow. It just won't grow. If your plant is maybe 5, 6, 7 inches tall, or around that size, a small plant still, basically, that's what I'm trying to say. You could get a Coke bottle, 2-litre Coke bottle, cut the base off it and place it over the top, and it makes a propagator. So it allows you to create a better humidity within the plant. And once the plant grows fully within inside that bottle, you can then remove that and off it goes then.
Yeah, it's happy and it's big enough to control its own environment. Yeah. So the next technical term is saturation. So that's when a gas or a space holds the maximum water vapor possible at a given temperature. It's said to be saturated. So if you add extra water to a saturated gas or saturated area and its temperature decreases, some of the water vapor will condense. And this is what we see as condensation. You know, the water droplets on grass in the morning. That's what that is. That's what I'm talking about there. And the last one, the important one, is relative humidity. So when you talk about humidity, we always talk, you'll see on your little thermometer, hygrometer, RH as a percentage. Well, that RH stands for relative humidity. And that's the ratio of actual water vapor content to the saturated water vapor content at a certain temperature and pressure, which is expressed as a percentage. Now, that's a bit technical, but what
for all of you who've just fell asleep and got lost there, I'll just recap it in layman's terms. Basically, what he's just said is really important. So all of the basic stuff that we told you at the beginning of the podcast, bloody listen to and take note of.
little Trojan horse.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, the Trojan horse, they come into this clean environment and, when they've arrived, it just so happens that it's nice, arid and dry. So, hey, let's get the sunglasses out and
have a party.
Yeah, let's have a party. And now the thing with these little buggers is when these guys party, they are very sexual and they get busy very quickly.
Yeah.
There's no, romancing over a drink and a film and maybe the second date. Once these get to their happy place, they are happily making babies.
And lots of them.
Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of them.
So, thrips.
Well, just one thing I want to say is, so see these tips that we've just gave you just then for spider mite. All of these tips, i.e. the stocking over the air in, the cleanliness in the room, making sure you're not contaminated, making sure your species that you've brought to the room isn't contaminated. All of these can be implemented with all of the pests.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. If you do all of these things, it's going to make life really hard for all pests to live in your grow.
But as we move on to our next pest, this is something different. This is a different kettle of fish. And the reason you get it is because of you.
Ooh, you.
You've created an environment.
Well,
it's quite similar, actually, isn't it?
Well, to be honest, you create a lot of environments for the other guys, but you can really, basically, with this one, you're really opening the front door and inviting them in for a cup of tea. You're making it that easy for them, because there's a lot of things that growers do that we've seen working in the store, and we think, oh my God, what are these people doing? They're just opening themselves up for pest and disease. And simple things can do this by, i.e. overwatering.
And what pest does this provide?
Pond skaters.
Pond skaters. Now, if you haven't seen pond skaters,
imagine little dwarfs on tiny skates, and they do what's it called? Dancing on ice on skates. Yeah, Torval and Dean on the water at the base of the plant.
Yeah, so if you're not interested in growing plants, they're quite funny to watch. Skating around, put some music on, watch them get round the overwater plants.
Pond skaters / springtails.
Pretty similar conditions.
Yeah.
Breed springtails and pond skaters. Fungus gnats.
What are they doing? They chewing away at roots.
Fungus gnats are chewing away at them roots. They love that rooty, fibrous food. And
would you say they're thriving off the rotten environment you're creating because you're just going into your plant and you may be top feeding, you may be bottom feeding, but whatever feed you're doing, there's water sitting in that tray. It's in that tray and it's sitting there. And it's sitting there. And it's sitting there. Oh, and it's probably a bit cold as well.
And the plant manages to just suck up that last bit of water, and you come along, boom, and
nice
dump another
5 litres
of water.
5 litres. That'll be fine.
Yeah.
So then these pond skaters start, or these fungus gnats, or these, what was the last one? Pond skaters.
Fungus gnats. I've just said that I've
Springtails. So, botrytis.
Now, this has got. I like to know where meanings come from. So it's the ancient Greek, and it means grapes. So the BOTR, the boty, means grapes, and the suffix, the itis, means disease. Everyone knows that. Every disease ends in itis, doesn't it?
Yeah. Itchy-itis.
Smelly-itis.
Yeah, scroty-itis.
Well, I've never had that one.
Oh, I don't know. Neither have I, apparently.
So it means grapes for disease.
Yeah.
Now, that's not to get confused. It doesn't just affect grapes. It's a little microscopic way that botrytis forms, and it forms into like little grapey nodules, which you can't see, but it's interesting for the geeks like me.
Yeah.
What you will see is you'll start to see the little grey, mouldy, brown patches appearing, usually on the densest bits of grapes or strawberries, anything that's really closely packed together.
And you'll normally find it's right in there, right in the bloody middle.
Yeah, that's how it works with plants. It's from the inside out. That's how it likes to work. What you do, therefore, is you amend your environment straight away, so it's the correct environment. And essentially, this is the bad news, guys. Chop off
Get
the
your
effective
scissors out and remove the affected areas. Otherwise, it will spread like wildfire.
Oh, it will spread, trust me.
Yep.
Those, when you pull it off and you're snipping off the bad areas as well, don't do it over the top of your other tomatoes, strawberries, grapes, whatever it is, because as you blow it, I just did a little blow then. As you blow
It was blowing in me ear.
that's later.
Oh.
You'll see the little fungus spores move. You'll see the grey mould move, and that is then going to land on the other plants that are affected. So take the affected plants, take them out the room, cut off all the bits that are affected, put them back in, and then monitor your plants very closely.
But
couple of
make
times
sure
a day.
you adjust your climate. Otherwise, it'll just happen again.
Yeah. Wherever you are, we can help. So stay tuned.
This is also to everyone who thinks that they know everything. We, the NPK team, we don't know everything. We spend a lot of time researching and reading articles, and Stephen writes articles, and we do a lot of different stuff, and we spend our lives, and we will continue to spend our lives learning more and more about our industry. So just use people who think that you know everything. You don't.
Can I talk about the two curves of knowledge?
Yeah, go on. You talk about 2K. I like 2K.
Because these two curves look like boobies.
Okay, the boobies of knowledge.
I said this to my dad yesterday. He said, can't you say two hills instead? It's a much more...
No, because everyone understands boob.
So yeah, curve, two boobies. And it's essentially the curve shows the more you learn, the less you know. And that is our graph. So imagine your graph like that. And it's the less you know, the more you learn.
Yeah.
That's what you should be doing.
Yeah.
But the more you learn, the less you know.
Yeah.
One of my favourite sayings. So you start your life in indoor cultivation, indoor growing, hydroponics at the start of that booby.
Yeah.
And you work your way up it. And as you get to the pinnacle, the top of that,
the nipple.
the left nipple.
Yeah.
As you get to the left nipple, you've probably done a bit of reading. You've probably been around for about a year, and you think you know it all. You've done a few things outdoors, you've done a few things indoors, and you think you are at the pinnacle of knowledge and you can't be taught anything. Well, you're wrong. You are on a very, very steep downward curve where everything just seems to fall apart, because as you learn more, as you integrate yourselves within some of the most knowledgeable people in the industry, you realise you know very, very little. I hopefully, I'm just coming off that slide, and I'm about to start working my way up the second peak, because I consider myself, and I know you do too, we're at the bottom we're in the middle of the two boobies.
Yeah.
We've thought we've knew it all.
It's a nice place to be.
Yeah, it is. You set me off, you know. I can lose my train of thought when you start saying all this. So we're in the middle of the two pairs of boobies.
Are we back to two pairs of boobies?
No, one pair of boobies. Okay. One for me, one for you.
I was getting excited.
And you've learned a lot, and I'm going to say it again, the more that you learn, the more that you open up your knowledge into books and into research and learn with other people, you just realise how little you actually know. So then you start your journey up the second boob, and this is where we feel we are now. We're doing a lot of in-depth learning on all subjects.
A lot of study and research.
But unfortunately, this curve, this booby is a long time to get up.
It's a Mount Everest booby, this one.
Yeah, the first one was just Movama in Wales, very small one. And we were up and down very quickly, the more that you learn. This second one, it takes you a long time, and you're looking 20, 30 years before you get to the pinnacle of the right boob.
Yeah.
And that's from myself and Thomas, who've been in the industry for a long time.
Yeah.
And we've learned a lot of stuff, and we still consider ourselves to be just on our start of the way up.
Yeah.
Onto the second pinnacle. So bear that in mind? Where do you put yourselves on the pair of boots?
So, and he was having issues with the temperature and humidity.
And the humidity, always being cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually, yes. It's keeping this temperature
And when you go below ground, what's the standard temperature? -8?
Well,
below certain distance.
when we back in our
Not in
caving
the middle
days,
of the earth.
in our caving days, there was a weird phenomenon when I can't remember the exact amount that you have to go down, but it's always a constant temperature, no matter what.
-8 degrees, was it?
I don't know if it was that cold. It might have been 8 degrees.
8 degrees.
Yeah, doesn't matter if it's 30 degrees or -8 degrees up on land. It always is 8 degrees in when we were doing our caves.
There's a fact for you.
Yeah,
If we've got
a
it
geological
right.
fact.
If we've got it right.
Our university lectures will be piercing us now.
I think you'll probably find it gets a bit hotter as you go lower.
Yeah, just a little bit.
When you get to the core, bloody hell.
Well, I've got another little interesting fact for you.
What?
Ooh.
We're going to the core.
Yeah. Geologically speaking, the amount that we've drilled down into the earth is about, I think one of the biggest drill depths is about 400 metres. You can correct me if I'm wrong again. And you know, if you imagine the earth as an apple, well, we haven't even penetrated the outer skin yet. Isn't that interesting?
Well, he is
It
one
is
for you.
interesting,
He is
but
one
they
for
have
you.
drilled
If
further
we're on
down.
interesting facts, he is one for
Yeah.
you.
Well, 400 metres would actually be ridiculous because some mines are a mile deep.
Are they? Well, man-made, I think it was what
I
I
think
was...
mines are mainly man-made.
Yeah.
Yeah, otherwise they're called caves.
We're just having a scientist off here. Me and Thomas have sat back while our two scientists.
I was going to jump in and I was
studio.
going to say, well, 80 years ago, there was 1 billion people on the planet, and now there's 7 billion.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
That's a lot.
That's a lot
Yeah.
in 80 years. And
Well,
the
we've only had
fact of the
TV for the last
human
6
race,
years,
you'll
haven't
remember
we?
this one, Stephen, back from university days. The human race has been, if you could put it on into a 24-hour clock,
Yeah.
it equates to we've been on
1 second.
1 second.
So we've just arrived at 11:59:59 on a 24-hour clock.
Yeah.
That's how long we've been on the planet.
And look how much damage.
And we're
And
still-
look how much damage we've done.
Yeah.
Hey,
We're still
we've
the longest
absolutely
running plague.
logged
Yeah.
the living daylights
We
out of
have.
our rainforest. We blew up every country and anything that we could manage to get
Destroyed
out.
the ozone.
Yeah.
Destroyed the ozone layer with our CFCs.
We've melted all of the ice in the Arctic, and now the polar bears have got to swim
Yeah.
for miles and miles and
Acidified the
miles.
seas.
Yeah. Well, me and Peter are having half conversations here because we're chatting
We've
away.
rebuilt the roundabout at the bottom of our estate. Now you have to go all the way around.
Well, my brilliant editor has just said, or just mentioned to me, that the deepest man-made excavation or hole, whatever you want to call it, the deepest artificial point is 12,262 metres long, which is 40,230 feet.
A bit deeper than your initial 400 metres.
Bloody hell.
stance.
Yeah. He was just a bit wrong there.
You know what? I probably
He was only like 5 mile out.
7 miles.
You know, I probably misinterpreted it. He might have been on about an oil drill or some sort of...
He just lets us hope he doesn't misinterpret what's in these nutrient bottles.
Well, we're back, unfortunately for some.
Yeah, you've got another year with us again now.
2016, the 7th of February, we are back with our New Year's podcast. You can hear downstairs there, cock-a-doodle fucking doing.
Yes, that's our cockerel. You can hear it in the background. He just wanted to say hello and welcome into 2016.
Pride comes before a fall, and the 2 shows being
We're
cancelled
a
is
proud
the
company,
fall, I
and
think.
people who listen to this will go, whoa, but if somebody else done a podcast, you wouldn't be happy. Come on, do a podcast. We'll be made up. We love it. We're not bothered. Come on, whoever's got a bit of innovative in them, come and have a podcast so we can have a podcast off. Okay? So, don't sit there and start going, no, well, it'd be different if NPK, No, you shut up, you. Listen to what I'm saying, right? We love a bit of competition, and we talk to other shops, and we are a sociable shop, unless you fucking really piss me off.
Yeah.
But, I think that'd be a good idea. I really do. And I'm only suggesting it because I want it, and I know a lot of people have spoken about it, but they don't have a platform to put it out. So I'm putting it out. You know, if you get offended by it, fuck off, because I don't care.
Don't listen to the podcast.
Just don't listen to the podcast. Go home and cry.
It's only us bunch of bellends talking about.
Yeah, so
hydroponics.
there you go. At the right venue, you could have an outdoor event with a multiple of marquees or them circus tent things, whatever they're called. I don't know.
Places for cover.
Yeah.
I think the two main conspirators of the 2 hydroponic shows that go on in the UK, get your heads together and come up with something really amazing and do something that makes us proud of the industry that we're in.
Or we'll just have a Royal Rumble and we'll put them all in the ring together, and whoever wins, they get to do the show, and everybody else has got to help them because they're the champion. But just on that idea.
I think that's a plan.
They're even better.
And we'll do it in the
naked.
As well. Moving on.
Yeah, anyway.
Let's get on. What products do we want to see? Now, it's sort of the end of this podcast, what we're talking about now, lends itself a little bit to next week's podcast.
Yeah.
Innovation or imitation.
Yeah, innovation or imitation is going to be very interesting.
Are you an innovator? Do you come up with unique, original products? Or do you just look at what's out there already and copy? Not necessarily a bad thing, though. If you look at what's out there and copy, you may be making a product better.
Look at Apple. He didn't create the computer, did he?
Well, his favourite saying was, I am a stealer of ideas. I like to steal great ideas. And he was not afraid to say it either.
Yeah.
So absolutely. Copying is not a bad thing.
No.
So next week's podcast.
It's bad if it's your thing that's being copied.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's bad if you make a cheap version of that product,
Yeah.
which is what next week's podcast is all about. We'll be talking about people that have innovated a product, and then everyone who jumps on the bandwagon and makes a cheap product and sells it for the same price, and it's just, you get found out really easy, and it destroys your credibility as a company.
Yeah.
Especially now that we're on the warpath to obliterate all bad products that come to our industry.
Yeah. Any bribes, if you don't want to get your product featured, just call me on my mobile.
Which is 0700. Don't fucking bother calling. Yeah, because you'll notice that we don't have sponsors on our show.
Yeah, no sponsors and no adverts, because we don't like that crap.
No, it's boring.
Yeah, it's boring. Oh, yeah, but they pay you, but you can't pay us to do this stuff because we just love it.
Prediction. What more predictions have we got? I would just like to see. Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah, do you want me to
year.
predict something?
I'm excited.
Yeah, do you want me to predict something for you? I predict this year NPK are going to dominate YouTube. So there's a top secret, okay? And I mean dominate YouTube. So you know all you grow shops who have just put out or recently had videos on YouTube and you absolutely made me fall asleep. Yes, I'm talking to you. You know who I'm talking about. I have now got a mission to make sure that NPK dominates all of the grow videos on YouTube. And I had a meeting with my production team, specialist production team. Yeah, these are top secret things that I'm telling you now. And we will begin filming in around a week or two. And we will finish filming all of our episodes, yeah, which will drown YouTube in 3 months. So watch out for that. It's going to be interesting. And don't worry, it's not just going to be my face you're going to see on there.
You're going to see this bearded look.
Yeah, you're going to get to look at the beard. Might even show you a bit of Rick as well if you want, the IT specialist.
What are you shaking your head for?
He's very photogenic.
He's like the cocktails.
Oh, he's got a personality like a draining board.
He fucking laughed.
He laughed.
Wow.
Oh my God.
You'll edit that out.
So that's one thing that I'm going to predict for you.
Okay. I want to make this prediction. I don't know what I'm going to predict though. Pass me that crystal ball over.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. You spilled the fucking crystal coffee everywhere.
Yeah.
Clean that couch up.
Yeah.
Predictions. Predict that AutoPot Festival is going to come on leaps and bounds and absolutely just.
That's a no-brainer, that though.
Oh, fuck off, Thomas.
That is a no-brainer because like everybody's already like, I want to come. It's booked out already. and like they've got no more space. And it was weird last year because it was the first one. I think everyone was a bit skeptical and maybe a little bit about it. And I went, and a few people, key people, didn't turn out, and oh my God, were they so disappointed. And a lot of our team, you were on holiday, and a lot of the team was away on bits and
Yeah, it
pieces.
was the first day of my holiday.
So I know even more so that the show was going to be really, really good this year because everyone's like,
Because I'm there.
yeah, that as well. I'm so disappointed that they missed it last year. So, and it had that much positive feedback. How could you not go?
Oh, I've just thought of a prediction. It's a bit unfair though because it's secret knowledge prediction. I predict that the nutrient world of hydroponics is going to be turned upside down in 2016.
It's a big prediction, that one.
Let's
Big
see how that
prediction.
pans out, shall we? That's my prediction. The nutrient world is going to be turned upside down.
It's a bold statement, that, Stephen.
I think. Well, why not?
I hope you've got scientific evidence to back that up.
I fucking hope so as well.
Yeah,
I'm going to have
good.
to go and start.
On
doing
that
some
note,
research.
thanks for listening. And that was 2016 podcast with Stephen and Thomas.
See you later, guys.
Bye-bye.
Well, there you go. You've been listening to the best parts, part 2, and I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed catching up through probably what was end of 2015 all the way through to 2016. And for the next couple of weeks, we've got 2017 and the best bits from 2018. Also, got to take my hat off to Coatsy, because for those of you that have been listening from day one, you'll know that the quality was absolutely awful in those early days, and Coatsy's been doing his best to get that audio up to scratch. So once again, thank you for listening. If you just can't get enough of us, follow us on Instagram at NPK_hydroponics. And if you really, really just want to punish yourselves, then you can subscribe to the YouTube show. Click onto YouTube, the NPK show, and subscribe. Got some really good informative videos on there. So get watching, because there's literally no other better way to spend your summer. See you next week, and we'll be back with part 3 of NPK Live Best Bits. See you all soon. I hope you all having a great summer. Bye-bye.